You know, for a religion that's supposed to be all about resurrection, we sure spend a lot of time focused on death. Ever notice that? Seriously, by far the longest Sunday gospel reading in the church year is the one which we will end today's service with, detailing the blow by blow of Jesus's abandonment, torture, and execution. It's way longer than next week's Easter gospel. And that's not some quirk of the lectionary. The Gospels themselves give 2 to 3 times as much space to the passion as they do to the resurrection and the risen Christ. In Mark, there's barely a resurrection at all. And have you ever noticed this? The week we call Holy Week is the week before Easter, when we revisit this tale of woe in service after service, not, as you might expect, the week after Easter, when we celebrate the resurrection but have no extra services at all. So there's something about this tragedy that we can't look away from, something we feel compelled to dive deeply into, to slow down and take in. We're drawn to start at the high point, Jesus's triumphal entry into Jerusalem as a king, as we just reenacted, and trace each step in the unraveling of it all. The betrayals, the cowardice, the violence. What is that about? Is it some kind of voyeurism? Are we like gawkers slowing down highway traffic at the scene of an accident? Well, maybe, but I think there's something deeper going on, something that has to do with identification. We're not just watching someone else's misfortune as we slide by on our way somewhere else. We're entering into that misfortune. We're reliving that story and fusing it with our own. We're doing these things because we've decided that this story of suffering and rejection is the story of our God. Christianity stands alone among the world's great religions in this claim that God doesn't simply care for us, but God suffers with us and even as us. So ultimately, the story of Jesus's passion is a story of compassion. Compassion from the Latin meaning to suffer with. Jesus suffers with us. And so we choose to suffer with Jesus, not as highway rubberneckers indulging in someone else's tragedy, but because it gives our own suffering meaning. Whatever cross we have to bear is being borne alongside us. Whatever anguish we have to feel is being felt with us. Fundamentally, we are not alone. In the abuse or the violence or the bullying that we have endured, in the slow ravaging of a loved one by disease or the sudden death by accident, in relationships broken or cut off, in our addictions or mental illnesses, in financial struggle, in loneliness, in hunger, pain, loss, or fear, we are not alone. And we relive this story with one other purpose as well, to remind us that God's compassion is a pay it forward kind of value. If Jesus can bear our suffering, then we can help to bear the suffering of others. If Jesus can heal the ear of his own enemy in Gethsemane, then we can work to heal the gang member or the traumatized immigrant or the targeted Muslim or the trafficked human in our land. If Jesus can promise redemption to the criminal on the cross, then we can offer empathy and reconciliation to the ex-felon or the drug user or just any person who has hurt us. And if we find ourselves utterly unable to forgive some wrong, we can pray in the words Jesus calls out to God on the cross today. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. I believe that's why we give so much attention to this painful story today and throughout the week to come, because the pain is ours to work through. The abandonment belongs to us. The violence has taken place in the lives we have lived. The suffering is our suffering, transformed by the God of compassion, given purpose by the one who suffers with. Amen.